Hello, and welcome to Bardic Inspiration, a show with me, but today a show with a bunch of us. I should probably unmute you. Yeah, because now it's so professional. Now we are all here to chat. Last time we were on, because I was not around last week, we had a vote, and the vote was Farideh and Havilar to get their own song composed for them live in a Twitch episode, because that's what we do here on Bardic Inspiration. And we were lucky enough to get Erin at a moment that she's free to join us and help fill in the gaps in our Tiefling sister knowledge, since finding a copy of the book to read is basically impossible.
Strongly recommend just jumping on the ebook.
Yeah,
game.
That's what
the
I should
best way
do.
to do it.
Yeah.
The audiobook I hear is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who read it?
Her name's Dina Perlman. She is excellent. She does. So I have this weird reaction listening to other people read my books where I get very embarrassed all of a sudden. So I haven't listened to them all the way through, but I've listened to samples. She does a very upsettingly good Lorcan, which if you've read the books, that will mean a lot. But otherwise, it's a little confusing. And she handles all the weird draconic words that I throw at her. She's excellent.
So she can say Mahan's first name properly.
His clan name?
Yeah.
Verthithurgiesh isn't that hard, is it?
I mean, it requires some practice. If we could fit that into the song somehow, that would be literal witchcraft.
What rhymes with Verthithurgiesh?
Anyways, so we are here. Some folks are trickling in. Usually we kick off our episodes doing the song from the previous episode. And the Shandy song is quite fun. But my favorite one is the Strahd one, which is from the episode before that. So if I had to choose, that's the one I would choose. So I think maybe what I'll do is maybe I should just get the chat to choose. I could do that. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Or I guess you were getting ready to do one. So which one do you want to do?
I was getting ready to do Strahd because I thought that was the one that you wanted.
All right. You know what? Yeah, let's quickly start our episode by praising the Dark Lord of Barovia, and then we'll get into writing a song for Farideh and Havilar.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I will tune my mic down. Quiet.
This is Drop of Time. The taken from Strahd's point of view. Here we go. Fool for you, fool for love, drive the heart, age the dove. I was blind to ever think that you could be the one for me. Now I see. Take the life, drain the blood, seal the path, bring the flood. I will take your fate into my hands and fulfill my destiny. Soon you'll see. With the dying of a light, it will be my time to rise. I'll be waiting for you till the stars don't shine. In this misty shrouded land, on a tower I will stand. Eternity is just a drop of time. Cursed by love, cursed by you, bound to your heart and true. I'm the darkness in your soul. I am the land beneath your feet. Come to me, come to me. With the dying of the light, it will be my time to rise. I'll be waiting for you till the stars don't shine. In this misty shrouded land, on a tower I will stay. Eternity is just a drop of time, drop of time, drop of time. Oh, the walls of years wore down my soul. You'll be mine. Oh, you'll be mine. We will reign among the dead and both be whole. With the dying of the light, it will be my time to rise. I'll be waiting for you till the stars don't shine. In this distant shrouded land, on a tower I will stay. Eternity is just a drop of time, drop of time.
That was awesome.
That was good.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm loving that song, man. That's my favorite one so far that we've done.
Yeah. So that's the bar, Erin.
I was gonna say, man, what are you doing? You set it up, and now you're like, okay, now let's write about your characters and see if it's as cool as writing about a tragic, deathless vampire.
Well,
I mean,
we got crazy twins.
Yes.
We got the twin powers, the Wonder Twin powers. Remember that?
Yeah. The sorry, turn my chirpy phone off. Yeah, they are definitely very different twins. Very much complementary, I guess. Which I think fits with how they're in the game. People seem to like playing them together, but I don't know if that's because they're like, well, they're in the same book. So.
Well, I mean, what was interesting is we didn't. Dylan, you were going to make a poll with one or the other, and then I think chat was like, no, they've got to be together.
I did one, the other, and then both. I think was what I ended up doing. I think that's what I did. God, that was like what, 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was. And 85%.
What is time anymore?
85% wanted both. Time doesn't have meaning when you're in a pandemic and you have a newborn baby at home. It's just like, what is time?
Not exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
What's even August? I don't understand this.
Yeah. And to think that we're like more than a third of the way through the month.
I know, right? I'm like,
Don't say horrible things like that.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
So.
So okay. Oh,
Where do
go
I
ahead.
start here?
I was going to say,
start
so we
talking?
have the document. If you scroll down to the very bottom, Erin, that's where the
Yes.
episode 5 Brimstone Angels part is. I know chat can't see this right now, and just to give you an example, chat, of why, I'll show the other overlay. Because this is what happens when you have a Zoom with multiple people. So it's hard to do this at the same time. So it's also currently, the overlay is also set for last week on that slide. Today,
Dylan, because we're writing a song about twins, I don't mind there being twin Dylans.
Twin Dylans.
Like, we'll go back to that, then people can see the lyrics. You might see twin. Maybe every once in a while we'll do the twin Dylans.
We could get Erin to sing with you and do something like Sonny and Cher.
No one told me I would be singing on this show.
By the way, did you find it challenging to write about tieflings in general, just because of like the background of tieflings in general?
No, and actually one thing I liked about it was I had space to sort of like just grab onto that and do as much as possible. I came in writing these books in 4th edition, where they had made a really big change about tieflings. And one thing I love about working in Shared World is that there are these sort of immovable pillars. Like, we said this thing, and so this thing has to be true. And it might be that that thing, outside of whatever game spawned it, or thing doesn't really make sense to you. So then the question is, how do you fill in the space? Or even better, where like 2 people wrote 2 different things and now they both exist. How do you bridge that? And so with Brimstone Angels, one of the things I got to do was say, okay, why are tieflings suddenly this true breeding race, and all devils? I didn't make that up, but I went in and said, okay, well, how do I kind of fill that lore back in to say, okay, well, this is what they say happened. And so the bit of that I took was that this was a sort of dark ritual that took place back before the time shift of the spellplay, where this coven of warlocks did this crazy thing with Asmodeus that sort of managed to sort of pull all those tiefling bloodlines together and make them his. And that was part of what let Asmodeus ascend to being a god. And so Farideh and Havilar are the descendants of the leader of that coven of warlocks, the Brimstone Angel, which is where we get the fancy title. So being able to sort of fit world building back into that was fun. And then being able to sort of deal with the fact that, like, if you are this, especially if you are this kind of tiefling, like, you didn't do anything, right? It was your great grandmother. You're walking around looking like you popped out of the hells. So
right,
that's a whole thing to deal with. And then also, because it's not like it's not a culture, right? It's not, you don't have like a group of tieflings that are sort of defining themselves that way. They're scattered. So Farideh and Havilar are actually raised by a dragonborn. So culturally, they are dragonborn. They like dragonborn food. They speak Timantheran Draconic. They have sort of that understanding of religion. And so the idea that you have this thing which you cannot escape being, you look like this every day of your life. Everybody knows that. But then who you experience being is very personalized. It was a lot of fun. I liked being able to sort of create different interactions based on that. Also, I really love Dragonborn, so I like that I could come together.
Great.
Just jumped in on that edition and rolled around in all of it. But I think the hardest thing with tieflings is like remembering they have a tail and they have horns. So like if they're gonna sit down, like you have to think about like, can they sit down? Does their tail fit there? Are people gonna stop and go, wait, how did that work? Because she couldn't lean up against the wall because her horns would hit the wall.
Is there a hole in the back of that chair?
Right. What I got was like, you can't sleep on your back very easily if you're a tiefling.
Yeah.
Like you probably have to like kind of do like a side or stomach roll, or just have a pillow all the time.
You don't think about these things when we design these races, right?
Right?
Monsters.
Mundane bits.
Yeah.
So
what style of music do you think would represent them?
That uses an acoustic guitar.
That uses an acoustic guitar, exactly.
Guitar. If it's electronica, I'm kind of screwed right now.
Yeah, I feel like Havilar is very into pop music, is my guess. But I'm not sure. I'm also terrible at like musical knowledge. I'm very much like, I like this song and I like this song, without kind of thinking about the pedigree of them.
It would be someone wrote "Rock Me, Asmodeus."
That's delightful.
Yeah, maybe it needs to be a rock song. I'm not sure, but it might be fun to be a pop song too. Just because we haven't written one yet.
This is true. Yeah,
Is that very difficult?
We've been going in the more moody direction pretty much since the start.
I have to admit, like, I don't have my old playlists in front of me, but when I was writing these, like, Havilar got a lot of like Havilar scenes were a lot of like dance songs because there's, even though it doesn't sound like a fighty thing, like when you're somebody like Havilar is very much somebody who has sort of put all of her points into being a very good fighter, right? She knows a lot about using a glaive, and so she's very smart about that, and she's not smart about a lot of other things. but she like will break it down and figure out things based on like different fights she's had. And so it isn't just this like I'm in a life or death situation. There is an element of joy to it, right? Like this is her in her element, sort of bouncing around the battlefield, doing these clever moves. That kind of goes with that kind of happy upbeat pop. I don't know if Farideh's that upbeat, but
it kind of makes me think of was it at the end of the Captain Marvel movie when it's playing Just a Girl while she's punching everybody around the spaceship.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone else wrote, it scrolled off already, but someone wrote pop punk. That could kind of work.
Ooh,
Punk pop,
I like it. That's
Yeah.
a good, I feel like that's a good merge too. Because I think if anything's true about Farideh, she's kind of, she's a good person. She just also wants to fix all the bad things. So maybe sometimes you have to burn down the bad things. I like that.
Da-na-na-na.
This is so cool.
You know, something like that.
That was cool. I like it.
Yeah, let's do something around that. Kind of like I don't know. Yeah, just like pop punk, basically. I won't list any bands right now, so as not to put us in any limitations. But I'm wondering. So now, do we do it from their point of view? Do we do it as a song about them, or we do it like a moment in time of what for them? What do you think?
I do kind of like so just off the, if you did a song sort of about them sort of as a whole, what's kind of cool about that is that this in a lot of ways like I will tell people like what this series is about how your family becomes your family of origin, how when you go through that step of sort of becoming an adult, how you have to redefine all of your relationships to sort of be your whole self, and how it's sometimes painful and sometimes you get to realize these people you've been around your whole life in a better way. And it's also about magic and devils. But so there is this push-pull between them in a big way because Farideh has always been the one, she sort of feels like the older sister. Like she takes care of Havilar. She takes this pact with the devil specifically because he says to her, you know, I know you're running around all the time trying to keep her out of trouble. And one day you're going to slip and it's not going to be enough. And they're going to kill her. And there's nothing you can do about that. Doesn't that sound scary? What if I gave you magic so that never happened? And also he was really hot. But the part about protecting your sister, that's the important part. And so for a big part of the series, she keeps doing that. She keeps trying to run around and protect Havilar. And there comes this point in the middle of the series in the adversary where in doing that, she makes things so much worse. And they have to kind of find their ground again and realize, and Havilar says to her at some point, like, you know, I'm not a baby. Like, you don't have to always make sure nothing bad happens to me. Like, I can take care of myself. And also, like, I can take care of you sometimes too. And the flip side of that is that Havilar feels very much like overshadowed by Farideh. So like everything she knows how to do and can do, like she's kind of the sort of like the cool fighter, right? You can do really great stuff in the beginning, and then the wizard starts getting meteor swarm, and you're like, okay, what am I? Chopped liver. So Farideh feels special. She gets this like pact, and it's not that Havilar wants a pact, but everybody's acting like that's a big deal. And so this redefining of their relationships has this like push-pull that might be interesting. For a moment, I would have to think about it a little bit. What kind of moment, if that doesn't feel
like a combat? But what I'm thinking now is just like listening to you talk. What if we made it more? Verse 1 is about her or from her point of view. Then the chorus is about them both, and then verse 2 is from his point of view.
It's ladies, just for the record.
What's that?
They're both ladies.
Oh,
they're both hers.
I don't know why. Sorry.
Okay.
So verse 1 is like from the warrior's point of view. Verse 2 is from the mage point of view. I don't know why I thought it was brother and sister. Okay.
Fighter warlock, fighter warlock.
Yeah, basically.
I like it.
So we just now need to think about, gosh, what's a good start? You know, like
That is the question of
good
every
opening
project,
line.
right? You know what? This is like sidebar while we're all thinking. Brimstone Angels is, I think, the best first line I've ever written, which was "Freedom met the devil in the dead of winter, 17 years after she'd been left at the gates of a village on no one's maps." I have been chasing that first line ever since.
Wow. Yeah.
But I don't know what makes a good first line in a song.
Can you say that to me again?
What makes a good first line in a song?
Oh, really just something that like captures the attention right away. So,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you to read me that sentence again.
Farideh met the devil in the dead of winter, 17 years after she'd been left at the gates of a village on no one's maps. It's a little long, but
All right. What if the first line is when I met the devil?
there you go.
That's a pretty good start.
What was that? 17 years after being left at the gates of a village on no one's maps?
Mm-hmm.
And so how old was she then?
17.
She was a baby when she was left at the gates of the village.
Yeah, like brand new.
Okay.
Like it was like somebody has to take care of this baby or it's gonna die. But the
Oh, I was going to ask Dylan. We still have the same doc open that starts. Oh, here we go.
Just further down. Yeah, further down.
Okay.
Yeah. When I met the devil.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's go there. And it was in the dead of winter, right?
Yep.
Could it have been storming? Could it have been a cold and stormy night?
It could have been. It was middle of the day in the book, but I'm okay with
All right,
some
we'll make it day.
I'm okay with
Make
some
it day.
poetic license.
Make it day. I'm okay with that. It was a cold and stormy day. And I met the devil. It was a cold and stormy day. Na, 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 na. So now we just
Love
need
it. This is another piece of their whole sisterly thing, is that Farideh didn't call the devil down. Havilar did. Havilar found a scroll of magic circle and summon and just thought, this will be interesting. I bet I could trap it. And so she did. And so this campion showed up and she's like, I'm a badass. And Farideh said, you're a dummy. Havilar bounced and Lorcan was like, okay, that first one, she doesn't need anything I can give her. This isn't going to work, but that one needs some stuff. I can absolutely trap her in a pact. Also, this circle is garbage. So there's this piece that Farideh gets this like attention and power because of something that actually Havilar did, but then didn't bear any of the consequences of.
You know what? What we'll do is we'll make it day or night, depending on what rhyme scheme we come up with. How
There you
about
go.
that? We'll shoot for it. That's kind of what you do in songwriting too, right? So we'll shoot for it to be day because that's really what happened in the book. But once again, legends.
Yeah, I would rather this song sounded cool than if it was than it be 100% accurate. I think that is more important.
That is the approach. That is the best way to do it.
It's a different medium, right? Like the things that you need to do in a novel are not the things you need to do in a song, or not the things you need to do in a game or a short story or a comic. You got to be flexible.
Yeah.
Now we need something. I think we need something that rhymes with devil, that continue like he was on the level or something.
Is this where the chat is handy? What rhymes with devil except level?
This is where Rhyme Zone is happy.
There you go. That's
a rebel.
Revel. A revel. Revel is a great word.
Mm-hmm. How can we fit that into?
I don't know if it helps, but the devil becomes a problematic romantic subplot.
Ooh.
So there could be some sexiness in there.
Okay.
You could use the word disheveled.
The word what?
Disheveled.
Yeah, was she
Oh,
disheveled?
disheveled.
Sorry.
I was slightly disheveled.
I heard disbevel, and I didn't know that word at all.
It could be something kind of funny. I mean, pop punk songs usually are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if any song should be funny, it's one about Farideh and Havilar.
I feel like there are funnier
Was
chants,
she
but
slightly disheveled? Okay. Did the romance happen pretty much right away?
no. I mean, okay, I will say this. She's 17. He's very attractive. She definitely had a crush on him right away. At the same time going, this is a very bad idea. But they don't hook up until book 4. Spoilers.
That's good. Like after she's over 18, at least.
Yes, that was an important part. I didn't want to put anything icky in.
That's pretty.
I also, there's a time jump because of the so the third book is in the Sundering series, and they said, okay, we want to move the timeline forward. And I said, I want to keep these characters. Can I put them in stasis in the Hells and then cause horrible aftermath? So they spend like 7.5 years in the Hells. But I was like, okay, but also I want to make sure that she has had 18 years of lived experience in addition to being technically 20 something. So everything is not too weird.
No, very good point. I'm glad. It's important.
Getting this going is always the tricky part too. 'Cause
Yeah.
once you get
I'm glad
going,
to
you just
hear
kind
that.
of
I feel like I'm not
coming
helping
together.
at all.
All right. I'm just gonna write this, and we're just gonna see. I'm gonna write these next couple of lines, and you know, even if it's silly.
Okay. Plus, man, when you sing stuff, it doesn't sound silly at all. So
You could even talk about how he was love at first sight right after this. And then you can alternate to it being from Havilar's perspective and be like, my sister's an idiot.
All right, so
I
listen
like
to
a
this.
spark.
When I met the devil, it was a cold and stormy day. I was slightly disheveled, but I felt a spark there anyway.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'd like the third line to be like da 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 da. So we kind of want something. We felt so good. So that's kind of our verse structure right there.
Okay. Okay.
What do you think?
So
That was amazing.
is the longer line, I guess, the fifth line? Or is it going to be after another?
The longer line will be the fifth line. So like it could
Okay.
be like I'll do the second part. I was slightly disheveled. I felt the spark there anyway, and it felt so good, like I never knew it would. Na, 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 na. I mean that you know
Yeah.
that is just like a BS line I threw in there, but you get what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah. Could you make it kind of shift to being about the magic, the
Yes.
pact, because they're all very tangled together.
Okay.
I don't know what rhymes with Eldritch Blast.
I felt the. Oh, did she
That's
throw
a little
out this
obvious,
blast
but-
at him right away?
No, that's the one he taught her.
Mm.
Have this scene of like, you know, you're a teenage nerdy teenage girl, and here's this very attractive guy being like, here, let me stand behind you and show you how to do this, and then you channel a massive ball of purple energy and burn a tree down. Like that's coming into your own on several levels.
Yeah, that's power right there. The old Eldritch Blast. He knew what he was doing.
Part of me feels so bad because I feel like if Farideh were a real person, the fact that you're writing a song about like this experience of hers would just, she would die of embarrassment. Fortunately, she's not a real person, so this is great and we can all enjoy it. But
Good. So it's funny that we wrote, but I felt a spark there anyway, because then, you know, well, not this. I would suppose flame. What's the flame cantrip?
Firebolt.
oh,
Yeah, firebolt would be more of a spark, but Eldritch Blast could still be, I don't know, a magical spark.
I think so. That's what made me think of it, honestly. I was like, wait.
A line from Garwar, you taught me Eldritch Blast. Have I found love at last?
Yeah,
He's such bad
why not?
news. He's such bad news.
Eldritch Blast. I actually, he taught me Eldritch Blast totally works. We just maybe need a couple. We need like one extra syllable in "Have I found love at last?" So, tell me Eldritch Blast.
And
The other thing that happens in this is they leave their tragic little village up in the woods. She has to like go out into the world. I don't know if that's a different angle from the romance. 'Cause I don't know.
Well, once again, it's a song, right? So
Oh yeah, totally.
we're taking artistic license here to make.
Oh no, totally. It was more like if the "Have I found love at last" doesn't work and it has to turn into like, and now I can go out and see the world, and that rhymes with blast somehow. That's another choice.
Okay.
So I don't mind it. I don't mind it because that sounds, even if I'm like, well, technically it's not really love, it's just a crush. When you're 17, it's always love. So you're wrong, but you're 17. So
How about he taught me Eldritch Blast. I was sure this love would last.
ooh, I like it.
Here, I'll change it.
Oh, someone said, could
This
I
is
have
what I
found
love
love at
about-
last?
What's that?
Someone said, could I have found love at last? I like yours too. So sorry.
Could I have found love at last?
I like this,
Make
I
an
think.
extra syllable.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like, it taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. Right?
Nice.
And I don't know if maybe I'm thinking musically in my head. Maybe I don't go down. Maybe I just keep that pattern going. I'm sure love would last. Yeah, maybe we go back to the first pattern, and then it changes into then it maybe goes to the chorus or the pre-chorus.
Or if this part is Farideh, when we go back to the first pattern, it's the same thing, but from Havilar's point of view.
I think
So
that'll be.
I summoned the devil.
I think that'll be after we hit the chorus. So
Yeah.
Like chorus 1 will come right after this, I think. Just because, like in a pop punk song, you hit that hook really quick.
Yep.
Just you want to hit that hook in a minute or less. Usually 45 seconds.
Wow.
There's just formulas to it. It's crazy because see the way the reason almost all pop songs are 3 minutes long or less is because it has to do with how radio used to be. So if your single is 2.5 minutes long, then me, say I'm the program director of the radio station in Milwaukee or something, and I'm like, oh, that song's only 2.5 minutes. That means I can fit in more commercials in 1 hour and still say that I'm playing more songs. So that's why all pop songs are right around 3 minutes. And then that formula is just stuck for the last 40, 50.
Once
60.
again, marketing controlling / ruining the world at the same time.
Yeah, it is. Kind of has. But that's the truth of it. When radio ruled the world, and the only way you could become popular as an artist was if your songs got played on the radio. You know? And that's just sort of shaped the art as we know it.
It's so fascinating. Like novels, there's things like that within novel genres. Like there's an expectation. Like mystery novels, like there's a really firm structure about how, or romance is very structured because people are like, this is the experience I want to have. And so if you try to deviate out of it in certain genres, it's really difficult to place your book because people are like, well, but no, you have to show me who the killer is by the 3rd chapter. We need to have had our meet cute by page 45 or whatever.
It's, you know what, we were talking earlier about audiobooks. So, one of the other things I do in my life is voiceover. And for a short time, there was a romance novelist that really, I got hired to narrate one of her books. And then they hired me to narrate like 6 more of her books.
Yeah.
Under a different name, by the way.
So we can't find it.
I was allowed to use a different name because these books were kind of racy, but it was a union job. Anyway, all right, I'm saying way too much here. All right, but the bottom line is there was certainly a formula to that book. You know, like certain things. Let's just say certain things happened by a certain number of pages.
Yep. I really I feel like the skill in it is how do you do that? How do you use the formula? Because the formula is what is expected in the publishing industry, and that's what your audience wants. How do you use the formula and still do something surprising? It takes a particular kind of author to manage it.
Which is what we've been doing, which is in songwriting. It's like, can you tell what you need to tell in 3 minutes or less? So,
You know that by the end of this chat, we'll have found whatever novels it is, right?
Probably.
The chances of that are really high.
Yeah.
Man, don't knock romance. Everybody likes
someone said there's no shaming. The only person I'm shaming is myself. But I mean, I'm not. It's fine. I just felt that it didn't really match my brand as a performer. I just thought it would be confusing, so I used a different name.
Sure.
That's all. Stacey Abrams, the politician, she writes murder mystery novels under a different name because she did
not know that.
Yeah, and she said what name it was, and I can't remember. But if you Google it, you'll find it.
Look.
Yeah.
No, that's very common. It's like you write this kind of book. I have a friend who wrote romance novels under one name, and she writes her YA horror under a different name. Part of it is too, just like if you're publishing a lot of books, they're like, well, we don't want these two markets getting mixed together. We don't want to compete.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Fun facts.
Don't cannibalize sales. Yeah.
Well, and then remember, Stephen King wrote under a different name for a while too when he wanted to just
And when did he have time for that? That guy publishes so much stuff. My God.
Yeah. Crazy writing all the time. Anyway, as we should be doing right now, writing this song.
Yeah.
All right, what do we need
so
now?
I feel like I need one more, like the da 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 da. Here's what we have so far. When I met the devil, it was a cold and stormy day. I was slightly disheveled, but I felt the spark there anyway. It taught me eldritch blast, and I was sure this love would last. Da 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 da. So that's what we need.
Okay.
Maybe we can say that it didn't last, or that it. But I didn't see him again for 8 years.
Or
no, he's up in her business all whole time except when she's in the house. That might be a little too far.
I feel like it was a bad idea. It's a good part to follow that up with.
Selena Montgomery is Stacey Abrams' name.
Oh, interesting.
For mystery novels. Murder mystery, I think.
There's
5 murder mysteries or something. I don't remember.
that's pretty cool.
It was a bad idea.
It was a very bad idea. I don't know. It's a mixed idea because she got to do cool things and save people and find her real true love. I'm spoiling the books left and right. Y'all should just read them, so I don't have to worry about it.
You know what? I'm going to go with my first instinct, actually, and go back to that other part. So,
Okay.
meaning we probably need something slightly different. So it's like you taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. It will na na na. Just to kind of put a button on the verse.
Okay.
Is this a place where bringing it into like it's a bad idea kind of a good direction? Because there is the fact that like she got her and her sister and her dad kicked out of their village, and then they have to go and be bounty hunters.
Which is also awesome.
Yes, there's that.
By the way, people love that you wrote "up in her business." That you said "up in her business," so now they want the song.
I think this is a good way to describe a very hands-on patron if you're a warlock. Like sucking up on my business.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the joke could be about how it was a bad idea because now he never leaves me alone.
There's that. He's very controlling. It's definitely a metaphor for an abusive relationship, and then it's less of a metaphor. It just is.
We could use "it was a bad idea." Well, but he taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last.
Like conceptually,
but it didn't. Is basically what we're trying to say, right?
Yeah. Where there were ramifications I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Does that help to bring it back to Havilar or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
I mean, for her talking about Havilar, but
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it feels like since we only have basically two little lines to go for this verse, that it should be total. This whole verse should be about the devil.
About Lorcan.
You think? I mean, I'm not trying to drive it too much, but
I mean, you're the songwriter, so I feel like you should be driving it.
All right, fair enough. I mean, collaborative.
I would say like in a novel, oh, this is the point where we hit this note, so that later hit. But that's not.
Unfortunately, we've got 3 minutes to tell our story. So
right, no, totally.
You can kind of jump all over the place.
It's like, what do you encompass? So like not in terms of specific lines, but in terms of what is it about? It seems like it could be about like, and now like here's the whole wide world, and now I can rip a hole in the plane and pull a volcano out of the ground because, as someone once said to me, fourth is an addition.
An addition? Yeah. Sure. I think we have friends that work at a certain company that say, yeah, we don't talk about that edition.
Shame on them.
What's that?
Oh, my stuff is so tied to fourth edition. Like I picked up a lot of this stuff and people like it, but it is, the mechanics stuff is less relevant to the novel. Some people are like, I hate it. I'm like, well, okay, some of it's not terrible because I wrote some of it.
Exactly. No, they're not talking about the novels. I think they're just talking about the mechanics, which I'm assuming like you didn't design the mechanics.
No, absolutely not. That is not what I do.
Yeah.
It's not what I should do. So. I just take those mechanics and write them in a fiction in a plausible way.
Sure. Which, I mean, Eldritch Blast is a blast that has lived on forever.
Once I wrote a healing surge and it was great.
Awesome.
Nobody even noticed. Do people have clever ideas?
We just need like maybe a line.
Does it need to rhyme? With itself or with what we've already written?
No, with itself. So like
Okay.
da 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 da. So hey.
Okay.
You know, like whatever, like so an A and an A or a B and a B.
Right. Okay. So it doesn't need to rhyme with blessed. Cool.
But
Okay.
like we could say like but it was not to be, you know, but it wasn't to be da da da, but it would take a while for me to see. That's not it, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then it fell apart, but then
it's something like even if it doesn't, I don't know. Part of me is like, I feel like the relationship is weird and complicated, and it takes the whole series to like fill out, which like it doesn't have to in this song, but that the piece of like it being like he's really hot, and also look at these cast spells I got. Hey, that rhymed. That's not an actual suggestion.
He's really
just to be
hot.
clear,
Check out
just
these
to be
spells
clear.
There's a line from the chat there. Now we're on the road and we've got so far to go.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
it's good. It's good. Does it fit right there in what we're trying to say though? That almost feels like more chorusy kind of stuff, which could work. So keep it. We put it in the dot just to remind ourselves.
Someone said the novels would be much less exciting if Farideh had to sit for an hour before she could do any more spells. And as someone who plays as a warlock right now, thank you. Yes.
It's better than just running out and having to sleep for a whole night, though.
That is true. Although, I don't know. My party is like, we never take short rests. Because if we're going to rest, we're just going to take a long rest. It's like, okay.
One of those groups.
Yes. Like, come on, guys. I have one good benefit. Now that I got a decent packed blade, it's just like, okay, now it's time for the axe to come out. What else is on here?
Let's see.
Now my patron is staring at me, won't let me read.
I learned so much more than just magic.
But if it all fails, the devil's in the details. I like that.
That's kind of cool.
That's another good line, too.
Yeah.
Jason Oltz is on fire. Okay.
What's another
like everyone's sure this, like if this was not just it was a bad idea, but like everyone's so sure this is bad, but I'm pretty sure I've got a handle on it, kind of.
Right.
Right.
They all told me no, but I was ready to go. No, kind of.
But as I move on, I've found it's not easy to be bound, or not so easy to be bound.
Ooh.
I like that one too. That's a nice line.
Chat, thank you for making up for the fact that I'm not good at rhyming. Apparently.
I mean, that kind of fits.
Ooh, but they all told me no, but this is the devil that I know.
Ooh.
That's the name of the last book, The Devil You Know.
Oh, that's clever. That's a good play words.
Although it should be N-O. They all told me no.
Does that fit?
He's the devil that I know. Just because it's it sings better. Taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. They all told me no, but he's the devil that I know.
This is
Why
so
not?
exciting.
Yeah.
And then we need a chorus.
I mean, I like the. Did you get rid of, or is it just scroll down?
It's just down a bit.
Now we're on the road, and we got so far to go. Na, 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 na,
Na, you know, something like that.
You're like giving me the feels.
Good, all right. Good.
Now we're on the road, and we've got no far, and we've got so far to go. Na, 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 ba, 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 ba.
That feels chorusy to me.
At this point, is it? Should we, in the chorus, be talking about the found family, the established family that you were talking about, Erin?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think the chorus should be about both of them, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I can just blather for a minute and we can see if there's things in there. Is that what you want?
Yeah. It's now we're on the road, and we.
Yeah.
Is that a good start?
I think it's a really good start. I think it's awesome. The story sort of begins, there's this prologue of Farideh taking the pact, and then the first book is them chasing bounties, basically. They're chasing this particular bounty. They end up in Neverwinter. They get caught in this sort of infernal mission to sort of deal with the aboleths there, and it goes really poorly, but they manage to thwart it and get out, which of course begins turning Asmodeus's eye to Farideh and Havilar and realizing sort of what's up with them. And they do just kind of, it's a great series for like, if you like seeing the breadth of Forgotten Realms, because we go to Neverwinter, we hit Waterdeep, we go up into Silvery Moon, in Byron's, we come over to Cormyr. There's the adversary is up in the north in the wilderness. We get to go down to Timanther, in the last two books, and I got to jump to a beer. I'm not sure anybody else got to do that, so that was fun. So there is a lot of like on the road looking for something, especially with the sense of like what was supposed to be home was not. They grew up in this village that's largely dragonborn outcasts, and people who just kind of wanted to jump the grid, but who retained a lot of sort of ugly social pressures. And so, you know, being surrounded by people who are like, which one of you is going to be the bad one, you know, and isn't fun. So that sort of sense of having roots sort of denied them, and then they're ripped out. What they have is ripped out. And so that sort of traveling bit of it, I think, is important thematically. And again, a lot of it is that, you know, you have a sibling and you kind of get defined in opposition to each other. Right. I don't know if you guys have brothers or sisters, but like I have two sisters, and there was a lot of like my middle sister is like, I'm the pretty one because you're the smart one. And I'm like, you are just as smart as me and rude, which like took a while to like go and become your own person and start like not being, you know, I have to be this and you, so you can be this. I know when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to do activities if my sister was doing them so that we wouldn't kind of fight about it. But that sort of just enforces that, like, oh, now you're the athletic one and you're the one that sings well. And like, right. If you took the whole group. And so there is this sort of sense of like, now we're not going to define ourselves in opposition to each other. We're going to define ourselves separately. And so this is why in like Havilar's bio, she's got a lot of like, I'm the tough one and the funny one, and I'm definitely the pretty one, even though they're identical twins, because she's stuck in that mold for a long time. And so a lot of that process is like her kind of being able to separate and find her own, both of them being able to sort of separate and find their own paths. And their dad being able to watch his children become adults and make really stupid decisions and then bounce back from them and not swoop in and fix it. I don't know how much that fits in a chorus, but
it'll be good to kind of, I think now the chorus should be like a general, I liked all of that because it gives us an idea of like they're first of all, they're traveling all across the Forgotten Realms, and so a lot of their adventures are traveling. So I think we're justified with starting with now we're on the road and we've got so far to go, because that's, that could be their theme at any point of the story, correct?
Yes, most definitely. Someone suggests you should use Brimstone Angels in the chorus somehow.
Yeah, I dig that. I love Brimstone Angels.
This is the ridiculous. I hope I'm not sucking up too much time, just like yammering. But this is the story of that title. I had to come up with a title for it, and I couldn't. I originally, when I pitched this book, it was very different because it was a single book, and then it became a series. And it was I wanted to call it "Hell for Loveless Hearts," which is a Voltaire quote. And my boss said, no, absolutely not. This is when I still worked at Wizards. And so he was the managing editor. He's like, no. That, first of all, you'll make the art director's head break. That's way too many words. And it sounds literary or possibly like a weird romance novel. Think of something else. And I couldn't. I was so stuck. And he was like, we're going to call it Hellfire Twins. I'm like, that sounds like a softcore porno. I don't want that. He's like, then you have to think of something by Monday. And I was in absolute panic because the catalog had to go out. It needed a title. And so my sister's friend was like, oh, you should call it Angels of Brimstone. I'm like, that sounds like an excellent name for a metal band, but I don't think that's my book. But when I got into work on Monday, I hadn't thought of anything better, and I transposed it. I was like, I don't know, Brimstone Angels. I was like, actually, I kind of like that. I don't know what it means, but we'll go with it. And in the process of writing it, I figured out, I'm like, oh, okay, that's going to be the sort of epithet, the nickname for this ancestor that they descend from. And this is the whole point of like Lorcan's warlock collecting, is he wants like one of each of the warlock's descendants, and that's a full set. And look at him, he did it, because devils are nerds. So it was like the title came first, and it was totally an accident because he did not want to have written Hellfire Twins. Don't put Hellfire Twins in the book, please. In the song, please.
Okay, we will.
I don't know what rhymes with angels.
Hellfire Twins are a pretty metal lyrics, though.
Okay, I will say actually at this point it would be a really kind of funny inside joke if you put Hellfire Twins in it. Now that I've told that story.
Yeah. Write that down. All right. I mean, Brimstone Angels could be right there, right after that. Brimstone Angels, da 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 da.
Brimstone Angels. Brimstone Angels hunting monsters, slaying hearts. I don't know. First time.
Someone's got my sister with me, and I like that.
That's good, because it applies to both.
Brimstone sisters.
We find heaven when we bring you hell. Okay, Garwar. I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
No, that's it. Garwar.
Yeah. It's one of those words that like I read and I realized just suddenly I've never said it out loud. It says, I really want this song to basically be the anime intro sequence to their animated cartoon series, and I love this so much. It would be a really good one.
Yeah. That's really good. It'd be cool if this next line that we're doing rhymed with go or road. So it's like, now we're on the road, and we got so far to go. Brimstone Angels, da 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 da. Oh, right. So then we don't need a rhyme till we get to the end of the sentence.
Okay.
And look, I don't. And here's the thing: like I earlier, people were like, "Oh, that A B or A B A." Like I kind of just go with the flow. I you know, you sort of let it speak to you, and the rhymes come when you think they should come. I don't try to stick too hard and fast to too many rules like that. Sometimes we do once you sort of have established it, but rules are made to be broken as long as it sounds cool. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
If you got a problem with that, you can talk to 3 Gold Records.
I think that's true. So much of like writing rules are sort of like the things you need to internalize so you know you can feel out when they apply and when they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like when people are like consciously applying them, I see a lot of people over apply or misapply, and it's like just suck it all in. Suck it all in, and then your gut can steer you.
Yeah, then it gets too predictable.
Mm.
Now
we're on the road, and we've got so far to go. Brimstone Angels, something.
We're here to run the show. Someone wrote that. I like that.
I also enjoy people asking what rhymes with the draconic swear words. I made it up. Don't try it. You'll hurt yourself. Only Dina Perlman is licensed to try to rhyme draconic swear words, I think.
We need something in between. So it's like Brimstone Angels stand together here to run the show.
Oh, yeah.
Something. You like that?
Brimstone Angels bound together?
Oh, even better.
Ooh. Oh, how many times does the chorus happen?
We can do it usually chorus will happen 3 times, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Because if you make it bound together here and then it stand together, then it shows that sort of switch from like we're stuck with each other to like, no, now we're
perfect.
choosing it.
Chorus 3 or chorus 2, depending. It'll probably be chorus 3.
I love when songs do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's like, now we're on the road, and we got so far to go. Brimstone Angels bound together, here to run the show. So now we need to kind of repeat that.
Okay.
But we can change the rhymes completely, as we should. So now we're on the road, got so far to go. Brimstone Angels bound together, here to run the show. Then we can go da-da-da-da-day, da-da-da-da-day, Brimstone Angels, something, something, da-da-da-da-day. You know?
Got it.
So that we're saying Brimstone Angels twice in the chorus.
Okay.
Like this is the part where like, so like the beat, I would say the beat, you know, for the verse is like, but then when it hits the chorus, that's when it does the halftime thing where it's like boom 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 bap boom bap. Anyway, you follow me? Anybody?
No.
Mostly.
I hear it.
I'm like, teach me your ways.
Yeah, I hit play on the thing.
Come on, we'll get you there.
Bound together here.
Dylan, you're going to be like a master songwriter by in the next couple weeks, probably.
Oh,
Just gonna absorb it all.
be busting out chart toppers in between my live streams.
Copious free time.
Yeah. Although I do notice that even people who don't sing still sing to their baby.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
The number of ridiculous nonsense songs I sing to my kids. I don't even know why that. I don't even know where they're coming from.
They're coming from the kids' smiles. Because
That's
you're
true.
trying to make them do it, and then they do, and you just keep doing that. Run the show. All right, we need another line.
Yeah, now we need maybe like, is there Is there a is there like a statement or something that they would say together, or one of them would say, kind of like just a slogan or a catchphrase or something? I don't know.
It's draconic curse words.
Could we translate them to English?
Or F-bombs mostly. No.
Right.
Yeah, there's pretty solid PG-13 rules for Forgotten Realms novels. But I figure they're kids being raised by like a single father who's a like former soldier and very young when he adopts them. And I don't think he watched his language at all. So they very casually curse in Draconic. So because I can't make him curse could not make him curse like a soldier, I was like, oh, I'll just make up some Draconic swear.
Nice.
So that's trying to think. I'm like,
What was his name again? Varys Athurgish?
for Thisathergish.
Right.
Technically. What'd you say?
Perfect.
Technically, the beginning of the book, they're Thricomanaki, which means clanless. But then later, they get adopted into Berthas 30-ish. I don't know if this works because it doesn't have I don't think it has the same meter. And it's not their line, but it's a line that I used in the book that I really like because it encompasses a lot, which is we're all somebody before we become ourselves. Because I think that's a lot of that, like you're dealing with your past and integrating it into your present and your future before we become ourselves.
Elfgrist, that is a nice story. Elfgrist wrote, Steven Tyler said that he would never tell someone they can't sing because he would hate that this person would not sing to their baby when they're sick. So that's sweet.
I mean, everybody can sing Baby Beluga.
Or Baby Shark.
Dave was gonna say, have you had to sing Baby? Have you broken the seal of singing Baby Shark?
Baby's too young for that. Baby's only 6 months old.
Oh, you can keep him away as long as you can. No, it's I don't know. It's delightful. There was my husband showed me this YouTube channel, and I cannot remember her name, so I feel terrible. But if I remember it, I'll tweet it out. This woman who does she'll do a song in the style of somebody else. And
Oh God, somebody was talking to me about that yesterday.
She did Baby Shark in the style of Lady Gaga, and it was great.
Oh, there's a guy that does that too. He'll do like this is what Ozzy would sound like if he sang Britney Spears, or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
She picks. It's kind of cool because she picks it all apart. She pointed out what's the thing about Baby Shark that's addictive and awful is that it doesn't end. It kind of ends like it's going to keep going, and so you have this psychological urge to loop it. And I'm like, oh, that's that problem. I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll tweet it later. But somebody said Ali Spagnola. That's it. Spagnola. I'm pronouncing things terribly. Okay.
Bound together here to run the show. Something about the bounty hunting.
Sure.
What do they kill first? What do they hunt?
Criminals. They don't kill them. They bring them in. So the first person they're after is a Cormyrean Knight of Torm. So this is so they meet this guy Bryn, he's their age. He's on the run, and the reason he's on the run is he's actually in line for the throne of Cormyr, and his family is really aggressively manipulating things to try to get him up there, and he's like, I should not be king, and you guys are going to get yourself killed doing this because my dad's already been killed doing this. So he just bails, and his cousin, who is supposed to be watching out for him, misses this and takes off after him. And so the bounty that they pick up is actually they're trying to get the cousin so that they can get Bryn back. And so they know none of this. They've stepped into it, but it catches up to them later. So that's actually so they catch her, Constancia, and then Mehen takes her back to Cormyr, and then they go do lesser evils, and then the sundering happened. So the bounty hunting falls out kind of early-ish. They do end up tracking down the Crown Prince of Cormyr using similar skills, and then they track down a Marezi, which is a shape-shifting demon that eats people and absorbs their memories and abilities. It's really creepy.
That's gotta be a fun thing to write about, though.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
loved
my
it.
God.
Plus, like, they start out and they're really dumb, and the more people they eat, the smarter they get and the stronger they get. So, like, changing the Marezi's, like, point of view from, like, eat food, good, to, like, now I know all of the city's plans and defenses. I'll be able to take it down very quickly, in, like, slight steps.
We got like, we'll hunt down all your foes and we'll bring them in for show. That's kind of funny. But what else? Because do they ever get? I mean, as bounty hunters, I'm assuming they all, besides, do they do it exclusively for their patron, or do they get hired as well?
They get hired. Basically, it's their dad that takes the bounties, and then they're sort of like assistants. But the bits that kind of interweave with this is that because Farideh takes this back, because they are the descendants of this powerful warlock, and that there's actually more to that. They were engineered to sort of be her clone, kind of thing, to like hold her spirit so she could be reborn. And then they turned out to be twins, so that ritual got borked. And so that ghost is there. Asmodeus is there because Asmodeus is trying to cheat his deal with their ancestor by like giving them the power that he was supposed to give to her and being like, oops, sorry, you weren't in your body, right? So they're both end up being the chosen of Asmodeus in like a weird broken way because they've both got part of it. And there's lots of like thwarting devils without getting too much attention from them, and occasionally thwarting demons because they definitely get powers that are good for thwarting demons. Silver lining, getting chosen by an evil god you didn't ask for. You can mow down some demons.
Yeah, at least you got some powers out of it, right?
Right. They're funny. Like they're both in the game. In Untitled Champions, they're both still the chosen of Asmodeus. And so what Havilar has is that I know one of them's in there, and I don't know if you guys, I don't remember anymore if we adapted the other one, but one is that if she asks for help, a bunch of imps, two imps appear,
Yep,
and they'll do
that's in
things
there.
for her. That's definitely in there. The other one is that she has basically like a demon detection system where like if she's around demons, she starts to get nauseous, and she like kind of builds up this like kind of buff against demons. So she has to touch someone and give it to them, or she'll throw up everywhere. I don't think she throws up in the game.
She doesn't
None of
puke,
this is
but
helping,
she does
I'm
get
sorry.
buffed by fiends. Yeah.
I know there was some discussion about like how to work that out because there's like the demons and the devils and the fiends and what's more fun to play. So, yeah.
Give evil no repose. I kind of like that. We'll hunt down all your foes. Give evil no repose. What do you think of that?
I like it.
We'll hunt down all your foes. Give evil no repose. Brimstone Angels. Something.
We'll punch you in the nose.
We'll hunt down all your foes and punch them in the nose. And that's
I mean, it's a pop punk song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hunt down all your foes and punch them in the nose. I'm totally 100% for that.
I like how it tried to autocorrect punch them in the face.
Like, I don't mean that nose.
Oh, a shock. Tanra says make it a cheer like go, go, go. I kind of dig
Okay. Yeah.
Brimstone
I feel like it
Angels.
also
go,
goes
go,
with
go.
It
Okay, what
definitely
if
kind
it's-
of goes
okay.
with the anime intro.
Could we stick with what if we did Brimstone Angels stand together right here?
Okay.
Go.
All right.
All right, so it's like, now we're on the road, and we got so far to go. Brimstone Angels band together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, and punch them in the nose. Brimstone Angels stand together, go, go, go.
I like it.
It's so animated.
Yeah. I can picture there's one of them walking down like a sidewalk moping while cherry blossoms are flying by, you know. Probably Farideh because they're moping.
We're going to launch. This is going to get green lit. Right, let me sing what we have so far.
Okay, yeah, let's do the.
When I met the devil, it was a cold and stormy day. I was slightly disheveled, but I felt the spark there anyway. He taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. It told me no, but he's the devil that I know. But now we're on the road, and we've got so far to go. Brimstone Angels band together, here to run this show. We'll hunt down all your foes and punch them in the nose. Brimstone Angels stand together, go, go, go. Now it's time for verse 2.
I love it.
And so is this the Havilar one?
Yep. All told me no, but he's a devil. Sorry, I forgot that one part really quick.
That's okay.
But sorry for pausing. Tell me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. They all told me no, but he's the devil that I know. Yeah, cool. Did you ever think you were going to get a song out of this?
Absolutely not. It's like you joke about author bingo. Like that's sort of like, you know, imposter syndrome, and you say like, well, I'll be a real author when X happens. And once you do all the normal X's, like I finished something and I sold something and something got published widely, then you start to get into weird stuff. Like, and so I don't know, my friends and I joke about this. So it's like, you know, when my character is in a video game, when I see my first cosplay, and I never even thought of like when a pop punk song gets written about my characters. But this is really awesome.
Awesome. Good. Yeah, I mean, I think like any artistic, anyone like in the creative community, we all have like crippling imposter syndrome sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Right there with you, believe me.
So that silly little thing is just, I don't know, it makes fun of the imposter syndrome in a way, but also like kind of leaps over it. Kind of says like, this is an exceptionally cool thing that's happening because of something you made. Like having somebody like, you are really good at this, you are really talented. Having somebody really talented take something that I barfed out of my brain and make it into this cool song is exciting.
Well, let's make sure verse 2 is good, or we might screw it up.
Or I'll take back my compliments. No.
Okay, so now so what would happen after that? It'd be like, go, go, go. And then it'd be like a musical breakdown, like. And then that's when verse 2 would start.
Okay. And is this the same event from Havilar's perspective, or is it just a whole different thing?
I think it could be anything. I mean, it would be great if the song told a linear story, but it doesn't have to, especially pop punk songs definitely don't. You know, if we were writing like a country ballad or something, we'd want like, you know, the first word to start the story and the last word to end it. But here I think it could be a moment in time of her telling. or just like a general. Now that we know what the chorus is, sort of a general vibe of what her life and perspective is about.
Part of me likes
I
this.
summoned the devil is perfect. I know we had that. I summoned the devil.
Can you? Would it work if you changed it to that devil, or would it wreck it sound wise?
When I summon that devil, I think it works.
Cool. Then we know we're only talking about one guy.
Oh yeah.
Also, part of me is like, I don't think he's that special. He's not better than my glaive. It's pretty delightful, but it's a very slanty rhyme. So
I don't think he's that special.
Havilar's like, he's
I like
terrible
that.
and you should dump him. But also, I need to borrow his powers for a second.
He wasn't that special. When I summoned that devil, it no you got rid of the boring date line. That was good.
Oh yeah, I liked that.
When I summoned that devil, it was such a boring day. He wasn't that special.
He's not better than my glaive. Glaive rhymes with day, right?
It does. Or I was gonna say, I was about to walk away.
Okay.
Ooh.
Right, but I mean, I don't want to.
You know what? Could you do like, I was glad to walk away? Because she does not even think about it for a second. She's like, here, watch him for a minute. I'm going to go get my hen and show him how amazing I am at trapping things.
When I summoned that devil, it was such a boring day. He wasn't that special. I was glad to walk away. Yeah. And then that's where we go into the da-na ba 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 ba.
Huh.
I'm gonna do some formatting just so I can kind of see it. Let me just put it closer together on the page so I can see it all easier.
I feel like because it's Havilar, that some part in here has to be about how amazing she is at fighting things. Because that's what I feel like that's the most important thing to Havilar.
Something. So the next part could be about how he couldn't teach her anything she didn't already know.
Chad
Yeah.
is telling us glaive must be included, and I'm
I feel that strongly.
100%
Thank you,
down
Chad.
with that.
Her glaive, she names it. So she
Does
goes
she
through
use
several
it?
names.
Does she use it against that devil as well?
No, she sure thinks about it, but he's kind of like, she recognizes that he's sort of like this tool that Farideh's using for her pact. And also they end up kind of developing a weird friendship, because so like Farideh moves on romantically and is like, you're terrible and I'm done with that. And Havilar is like, you're in love with her, aren't you? And Lorcan, of course, is like, of course I'm not. I'm a devil. And she's like, you're a really bad liar.
Yeah.
But they're both having like romantic issues, so they kind of bond in a way. And it's sort of like, you know, they still don't like each other. But that was, I don't know. I like those sort of unexpected friendships and connections. They kind of team up to go save Farideh at one point and spend a lot of it bickering about how, like, no, you're hung up on your ex.
I'm not hung up. You're hung up.
How is this? How is this is really perfect for a moody anime series. I don't know why it hasn't already
I don't
happened.
know who you have to call to get that moving, but
Yeah.
Oh, I got a first look meeting in 2 hours.
Yeah. It wasn't that special. I was glad to walk
Get ready
away.
for your Zoom call.
Yeah. Frenemies. It wasn't that special. I was glad to walk away. What should come after that?
Yeah, M Snyder 84. Netflix, you're greenlit. South Park did a great episode on that a few years ago.
This is the thing about doing, work for hire. Like, none of that is in my hands at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So you work on when my stuff can be announced and come out, then I'll work on that, and we'll see.
Well, we'll write a song for that too.
Aw, thank you.
We'll do it. Even better.
I like it. One needs to the first half and the second half rhyme, and they don't rhyme with the first two, correct?
Right. So now
This line rhymes with itself. Yeah.
this line, this one is longer and it rhymes with itself, and then the last one can rhyme with day and away. If we want.
So what is that? That's.
So what happened after she walked away?
So she summons Lurkin into the magic circle. She says, "Here, you watch him. I'll be right back." She leaves, and while she's gone, Lurkin talks Farideh into making a pact. Steps out of the circle because she didn't make a good magic circle, and finds her, which blows up the house. And Havilar is like, "What did you do?" And they get kicked out of their little village. And Havilar is, I think the other piece of this is that Havilar is very used to being, she's both like the one that gets in trouble because she's usually pushing the boundaries, but she's also the one that she's most like their dad, right? He's a warrior, she's a warrior. Like you give Farideh a sword and she's like, okay, I think I can hold on to it. But she's not great at it. So that's another piece of this is her taking the pact is finding something she's really good at. And so Havilar's used to being the competent one, and now Farideh is the competent one too. And so that's very jarring. But that's not what you asked me. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, that was okay. I was just asking what happened. What happened after she walked away? Like, should we continue that narrative?
I feel like there's the direct actions after that are largely elided. So the like now we're kicked out is the next action that kind of really affects Havilar, and maybe like emotionally the feeling of like, this is my fault, but also I want the attention back.
When we got kicked out.
My mind was filled with doubt. My heart was filled with doubt. I knew it was my fault.
Or I had no doubt, like.
That it was my fault?
No, she knows it's her sister's fault.
All she had to do was sit there. She didn't. Yeah. She shouldn't have talked to him.
I know if it was one of my siblings, I'd never let him live it down ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, whose fault is it? The one that is supposed to be watching the devil, or the one that walked away, right?
Right. The one who, well, to be fair, she was trying to summon an imp and she missed.
When that happens.
Sorry, it's my fault. Chat being clever.
I have a glaive named, and I don't need him anyway.
Her glaive is, she calls it Devil Slayer by the end of the first book. Which she does threaten Lurkin with. I liked at one point she called it Eater of her enemies' livers, but that is too many words. Havilar, like me, enjoys titles with too many words.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the when you made this mess. Or I was unimpressed by this mess. maybe it's when you made this mess, I was unimpressed. I don't know. Well, no, I mean it's kind of like the same as I think we're hard. Maybe that was too much. I like the idea of when we got kicked out, something.
Did you make it? Okay, I can't think of the exact words. If it was something about like we got kicked out and now you need me and my glaive, my weapon, my blade.
Oh, but did she? When we got kicked out, you needed me to bail you out, or something?
Work.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
It seems good. Is that what happened though? Roughly?
You know, I think it's ish like the exact mechanism of them getting kicked out of the village. Probably not a lot, but it happens enough times, right? That one of them gets in trouble, the other one has to save. And I bet Havilar is keeping a tally, and I bet she's up. And she may even be like, oh, well, when you got kicked out, I had to protect you. I believe it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, from her point of view.
It is really like that scene is done in like Farideh's like flashes of like people are yelling at me and my arm is on fire and they're shoving stuff in a bag and now we're like, you know, at the bottom of the mountains and I'm going, what did I do? So yes, in there, Havilar jumped in and said, stop yelling at her. And they said, you get out too.
Okay.
And she's the one that remembered to pack, maybe.
Maybe we mentioned the glaive right here.
Yeah.
Is the glaive
Like
you
it.
there?
What's the thing?
It's the glaive I know.
No, yeah. Glaive, you don't know,
You can
the
make it
glaive
something
you know.
like, there's a reason I named my glaive Devil Slayer. It doesn't rhyme, but
Was there a name for the glaive that rhymes with glaive?
it would be great.
Well, what if we rhymed glaive with save? So like,
Ooh.
raised my glaive and you were saved or something. I mean, if that, I don't know if that works. You didn't tell me how to raise my glaive. Oh, that's really good. I raise my glaive and send people to their grave. It's a little dark. Well, I mean, come on. It's fine.
There's a scene in Adversary at the very beginning because Havilar and Bryn eventually like have a delightfully adorable teenage romance and they're going to sleep together and she's like, Farideh, you gotta switch rooms with me because this is what's gonna happen. And they're talking about the fact that this is, you know, it's a little nervy, like, okay, don't know what I'm doing. And Havilar's like, do you think it's like killing someone? And Farideh's like, no, oh my God, why would you say that? She's like, I don't know, I felt really nervous the first time I killed someone. I threw up 4 times. I don't want to throw up. So they definitely live in a world where that's a thing.
I mean, this can just be a statement.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be it can be like a threat, a promise. Wilson had to make a wisdom save. That's not how our song
It was such a boring day. He wasn't that special. I was glad to walk away. When we got kicked out, you needed me to bail you out. I raised my glaive. and send people to their grave.
I like it.
Nice.
People to their graves or grave? What makes...
I don't know. For some reason, the
Think either
grammar
one.
in me, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Should it be people or should it be monsters or should it be... I mean, people could...
Ooh, it's devils. Because then it's a threat against him, too. Does
Okay,
that work?
perfect.
Is that hard to say?
Nope, I'll raise
Okay,
my
cool.
glaive and send... Glaive is the only thing that I'm like, just because, like, I don't know. I'm not used to singing the word glaive every day.
Well, glaive and is probably harder than glaive 2. As in glaive 2 send devils to their grave.
No, either one's fine. I raise my glaive and send devils to their grave. I raise my glaive and to send no, I think and send is fine.
Okay.
Well, what do you think? I raise my glaive to send devils to their grave.
I like
I
that.
think that's...
I think they both sound fine. I think if I have
Erin,
to
go
pick, I
ahead.
say and. But mostly I say which one is easier to make come out of your mouth. So
Raise my glaive to send devil. I think and's better.
cool.
It just sings better. Well, now we probably just need like a little bridge or something to get us to that third chorus, like a little third section. But I can sing what we have so far because I know it's already...
I adopted 2 tieflings.
Just jump Merlin in there and be like,
Oh, yeah. We're going to throw this dad in there. That's perfect. Okay.
then you have to put them in the game.
Oh, yeah. That could happen.
Okay, I'm going to sing what we have so far. Hopefully I don't screw up too bad. When I met the devil, it was a cold and stormy day. I was slightly disheveled, but I felt a spark there anyway. He taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. They all told me no, but he's the devil that I know. But now we're on the road, and we got so far to go. Brimstone Angels got together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, and we'll punch them in the nose. Brimstone Angels stand together, go, go, go. When I summoned the devil, it was such a boring day. He wasn't that special. I was glad to walk away. But when we got kicked out, you needed me to bail you out. I raised my glaive and send devils to their grave. But now we're on the road, and we've got so far to go. Brimstone Angels come together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, and punch them in the nose. Brimstone Angels come together, go, go, go. That's what we have so far.
That's so good.
We got a song. We're getting close. I think what would be cool is to have a little bridge part that's kind of quick. Yeah, something like that. Maybe just 4 lines. Yeah. something like that. What do you think?
Yes. This is awesome.
So like when you write a bridge, oftentimes, especially in a pop song or a pop punk song, you kind of use some of the chords that you've used before. So you're not necessarily changing keys. You're just flipping some of the chords around.
Huh.
Keep familiarity in to the listener so that it's not too jarring, but at the same time, flipping the patterns around to kind of just give us just something different for a second before we bring it on back to the final chorus.
Do you do that with lyrics too, or just this? Is it specifically the music? Like, do you want to pull words out of the previous lyrics, or
no, it would be its own thing.
Okay.
And I think it could be more, I think thematically, because this has now sort of become their theme song. You know, it could be about sisterhood. It could be about, you know, just sort of what they stand for in general rather than getting too specific.
Okay. Is that somewhere you could use the "we're all somebody before we become ourselves"? Like,
Yes.
does not have to be those specific words, because
Those specific words are actually pretty great.
thank you.
Around somebody before.
Oh man, I wish if there was like one less syllable it would sing perfect. See, this is the songwriter's dilemma, is trying to say the same things but in slightly
Can you make
less.
can you make it "we're all someone before we become ourselves"? Or is that the wrong syllable?
We're all someone before we are ourselves, or something. We're all someone before
Before we become sounds like the problem.
become. If we could have a one syllable word for become instead of two, that would
Come
solve
here,
all of our problems.
thesaurus. Let's find something.
Yeah.
Before we are.
Thesaurus.com.
Before we find ourselves.
I like that, because these are terrible. Before we convert into ourselves. No.
Convert.
Before we be remodeled, be entrenched.
Well, Mycroft Jones in chat was like, find ourselves.
Emerge
Let's
as.
find ourselves.
We're all someone before we find ourselves.
I like it.
We're all someone or somebody.
It kind of sings better as like,
We're on someone before we.
Okay, yeah.
We're on someone before we find ourselves.
right?
Yep.
I like it.
And actually, Jadis Arrow had the same thought at the same time. See, sometimes our hive mind all works together independently, and then we look and we realize that it was there though.
Yeah, he beat us by a minute.
What's that?
He beat us by a whole, probably like 30 seconds, but yeah.
Yeah. Now let's go out and kill a bunch of elves.
I don't have a lot of elves in my books. Couple, but
In one of my big campaigns, I played a half orc who hated elves, just his thing. And he also hated gambling, and that was just were the things that were ingrained in my character. It was actually Garthok, who I ended up bringing on to an episode of Critical Role. This didn't happen then, and in fact, he sort of softened his hatred of elves to adventure with Vox Machina.
Yeah, because didn't they have 2 half elves and an elf in that, and 2 elves in that cast or something?
He kind of put that aside. But in our homebrew campaign that I was in, Garthok hated elves and he hated gambling. So of course we had to go in. We had to do the stealth mission, and the DM made it so that the first we're stealthing in, we're hiding in shadows. I think I drank an invisibility potion, and the first thing I come across are 2 elf guards gambling. So that one went south for sure.
That's your DM being like, so you're gonna do this or what?
How committed are you to this character?
Poke, poke, poke. Yeah. I think we could nail this before the episode ends if we can get the next couple lines in.
Does the next one need to rhyme with ourselves?
It should. It
Okay.
should.
All right. Open up
Tragically,
rhymes.
there's very few elves. Oh. Shelves.
Delves. Dungeon delves. Something about dungeon delves.
I don't know if they ever go on a dungeon. I'm okay saying that they do if that's what works, but I don't think they actually ever. No, they do, sort of. The second book is in a sort of buried library tomb trap thing. That could count as an elf.
Okay.
Is rhyming selves again
I don't think so. I think it's fine. Dungeon elves. Yeah. What if we listed off? From like we're all someone before we find ourselves. From da 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 to dungeon delves or something. From the highest peak to
court
the lowest.
intrigue.
Huh?
Court intrigue. Like, what's the opposite of a dungeon delve? Court intrigue.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
highest peak. Highest peak. From the highest peak to the lowest dungeon delve.
That's true. They grew up in a like high up in the mountains kind of village. Double meaning-ish thing. Symbolism.
From the mountain peaks to the lowest dungeon delves. Lost someone before we find ourselves. From the mountain peaks to the lowest dungeon delves. Yeah, we're almost there. We're so close.
You
Oh,
can
someone
slant the
also-
rhymes to hells, somebody said.
Yeah. I
That could be
kinda
the third
like
rhyme.
that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter that your blood's from the hells.
Because I mean, it kind of feels like if we kept that rhyme scheme for those 3, and then the last one wouldn't have to rhyme with anything. It could just sort of be a thing because it was like. Run someone before we find ourselves. From the mountain peaks to the lowest dungeon delve. Da 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 hell. Na, na. Yeah. So what can we?
We can do 9 hells. Does that work? On that one?
Yeah.
On that next one?
The lowest
See-
dungeon delves. From the 666 layers of the abyss. 9 hells. What do you think?
Yeah.
Huh?
I was gonna say if you made it something like I'll have your back to the
Oh,
something. of
yeah,
the 9
Ragnar
hells.
makes a good point. It might be good to mention sisters one more time. But
Yeah.
I'll have your back is still kind of
Sistery.
the same thing. We're just the sisters are talking to each other.
Yeah.
I'll have your back even when we go to hell, or maybe something more prolific than that.
That sounds so clumsy. That's like kind of what we want, but what's that?
Each of the 9 hells? You just say through each of the 9 hells, does that fix the rhythm? Or if you take out the traveling part?
I'll have your back through each of the 9 hells.
That work? Part of me is also like, they went to the fugue plane once. That's the opposite. But I like the have your back part. Oh, actually, I wonder if I have a...
Wait, what was the Hell Sisters? What was the
Hellfire Twins?
Hellfire Sisters.
I'm trying to find... Oh my god, this chapter is so long. There's a lovely bit at the end where they're like, "You're the best sister." I don't remember how he said it.
You're
He
the
definitely did better than
sister.
that.
They're like all beaten, lying there on the ground. You're pretty good.
Oh my god, why is this? Talk amongst yourselves, sorry.
No, that's okay. You can find it. We literally need that line. That's all we need. It doesn't have to rhyme with anything, so it can just be.
You have so much freedom with this line. Make sure you
Yeah.
pick correctly.
One of the things when you write a really long book is there's a lot of words to look through.
From the peaks to the lowest dungeon dells, I have your back through all of the 9 hells. You're my sister. We could rhyme something with sister.
Is it bad that when you said that, the first thing I thought was twisted? Wait, that's not right.
The Twisted Sisters.
It's not as useful,
Yeah.
but maybe it says how this is longer than I remember. So Havilar looked at her as though she were mad, as though there were never any other thing she could have done besides hold so tightly to her soul that the gods in the fugue plane released it. Farideh smiled. She was a good sister, the best of sisters, and for the rest of their days she would never forget that.
Best of Sisters is great. Actually.
Oh, I chopped these up so much.
I mean, what it could be cool to do that thing, do the baby shark thing, where we hold on the
Oh
chord
no!
first.
What?
So we just go.
Then people will listen to it over and over forever.
All right, so check this out. So okay, let's pretend like I just sang the end of chorus 2. So it's Brimstone Angels stand together. Go, go, go. Run someone before we find ourselves. From the mountain peaks to the lowest dungeon dells, I have your back through all of the 9 hells, best of sisters. But now we're on the road. I think that works. Just like
Yeah.
all right, I think we got it. Let's let me try give it a try. What do you guys think?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to set up a poll for the next episode while we're doing this part.
While we're playing it. Okay. Brimstone Angels, here we go. And I met the devil. It was a cold and stormy day. I was slightly disheveled, but I felt a spark there anyway. It taught me Eldritch Blast, and I was sure this love would last. They all told me no, but he's the devil that I know. But now we're on the road, and we've got so far to go. Brimstone Angels bound together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes,
the devil. It was such a boring day. He wasn't that special. I was glad to walk away. But when we got kicked out, you needed me to bail you out. I raised my blade and sent devils to their grave. But now we're on the road, and we got so far to go. Brimstone Angels got together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, punch them in the nose. Brimstone Angels stand together, go, go, go. Run someone before we find ourselves. From the mountain peaks to the lowest dungeon dells, I'll have your back through all of the 9 hells. Best of sisters. But now we're on the road, and we've got so far to go. Brimstone Angels got together, here to run the show. We'll hunt down all your foes, punch them in the nose. Brimstone Angels stand together, go, go, go. Brimstone Angels stand together, go, go, go.
That is so awesome. I teared up.
I put a little tag on the end of it just to, drive the point home. And what do you know? It's just under 3 minutes long. We did it. We're
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah. It's a pop punk song. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was 1992.
It was
We
amazing.
did this thing on the radio. But radio doesn't really exist much anymore. Oh well.
That was
We did it.
incredible.
That was awesome. Thanks for all of your help. Thanks for chat's help, everyone.
Yeah.
And Erin, you're awesome. Thanks for giving us all that
Man.
background.
Jason, you're so awesome. That was literally I don't know. I mean, clearly I'm a mess right now. That moved me to tears. It was really neat watching you do that and then hearing that finished product. And I don't know, just gave me really big feels.
Good. That would be a fun one to record too. Like I was saying, I can hear the beat already. I can hear all the instruments. It'd be a fun and easy one to record.
Yeah, I like it. It really captures the heart of the series.
Oh, good.
In a way that doesn't I know that when people try to do this, sometimes it gets stuck on the details, and I feel like this was so fluid, and it just. I mean, that's really where this all comes from. Is this feels like my babies.
That's great. Then
So,
we did it,
that's
we did
awesome.
it perfectly.
That's cool.
And
Very
you
well
were
done.
there. You were there too. You're part of it.
I'm glad I helped.
There is a poll in chat now where the audience can choose between Minsk and Boo, Dritz to Erden, or Artemis and Trary for the next one. And currently Minsk and Boo are in the lead, but curious to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't do the song for Shandy at the start. We should probably do that before we go.
Okay.
Just to maintain and not last time on we did this.
Right.
Yeah, I will be uploading this to the YouTube shortly and making a clip out of the Brimstone Angels Go 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 song, because that's what it is. It's Brimstone Angels Go Go Go. That has to be what it's called.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you pick
That's the name.
anime,
That is the name.
that's the name of the anime too.
You know what? And that's the reason that they would pick it. They're like, oh, they put Go 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 in the title. That's perfect for an anime. They know anime.
Brimstone Angels Go Go Go. Thanks for that suggestion. And by the way, Michael USA, are you you're joking, right? About he's asking why my voice sounds familiar to Dritz.
Surprise!
Yeah, that's a joke. All right. Totally different mood. Let's do Shandy and
Yeah,
And,
we'll close out with Shandy. I just need to listen to. Hold on, I think I've got it. Just would have to get into another mindset and a song that we can.
Different vibe.
Yeah, okay. I think I got it.
Savior of all. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here comes Shandy.
Boastful Shandy song. I love this song.
Now this one we did more. Sorry, I got my reverb on already. But this one we did a little bit more like a bard would be singing this about Shandy, because we hadn't really done one that we felt I think was sort of D&D-ish, like as if a minstrel were singing it or something. Fill your cups with mead or wine and go top off your ale. Now it's time to gather close to hear this halfling's tale. Battling dragons, skeletons, and riding on a whale. Hunting down the creatures that make other heroes pale. Shot the dragon orb out of a deadly frost giant's hand. Freeing all the dragons out from under his command. She's Shandy, the hero of Baldur's Gate. She's Shandy, the savior of all. She's fleet of foot, quick of hand, with eagle eyes she spies, always taking down evil monsters 20 times her size. She shall be the hero of Baldur's Gate. She battled 50 demons, then she banished 50 more. Just an arrow from her bow can kill 1,000 orcs. You want this woman on your side whene'er you go to war. But enemies will never know just what she has in store. Shot the like the time she knocked the teeth out of a bugbear's snout, or when she sent 100 soldiers scrambling in a rout. She's Shandy, the hero of Baldur's Gate. She's Shandy, the savior of all. She's fleet of foot, quick of hand, with eagle eyes she spies, always taking down evil monsters 20 times her size. She shall be the hero of Baldur's Gate.
That was great.
I like that.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you're pretty good at this, Jason. You could make a living out of this.
You could do this as a job.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It's August. I think I'm supposed to be. If we were talking back in March, I'd probably be somewhere in the middle of the country right now, I think. But I'm glad I'm actually, it's like when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Some pretty good lemonade. Are you guys gonna collect all these songs together?
We're talking about it.
That's the idea.
I
think we might. It's like I think we might take our favorites. Yours, of course, would be definitely one of our favorites.
I do hope so. I really do
try
like
to
it.
put them together for a little recording or something.
Yeah.
That's the eventual idea.
That would be pretty cool.
Oh man, that'd be great. Anyways, this has been our show for August 11th. Is that what it's the 11th today, right?
It is the 11th.
Wow. Yeah. Time has so
What
much
is
meaning
time?
these days. Thanks to all of you for joining us today, and for helping us to craft a song for the Brimstone Angels. Go, go, go! Thank you for participating in Idle Champions, in D&D. You guys are awesome. This show exists because of a whole bunch of really cool people behind the scenes, including our co-producer / moderator, Jay, our executive producer, Erica, and our partners at Dungeons & Dragons, Greg, Bart, Pelham, Allison, Schalling, and Lisa, the immensely talented Jason Charles Miller, and of course, thank you to our guest, Erin M. Evans, for joining us today and talking about Farideh and Havilar.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and tune in next week as we tackle Minsk and Boo.
Before we go, wait.
oh.
Erin, tell us about your show. You have a weekly show.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I have a weekly show on Wednesdays at 6:30. The Dungeon Scrawlers. We are currently playing a campaign called Westgate Irregulars, and I play Cecilia, who's a very different kind of warlock from Farideh.
Awesome.
She's lazy and a liar.
Cool.
So yeah, come check us out. It's a bunch of fantasy authors playing D&D.
And Jason, you still have Miller Music Mondays going, right?
I do, yeah. Every Monday at 7 Pacific, I've got Miller's Music Mondays, and I've got a different musical guest every week. And what we do is we go back and forth. So, like, I'll play a song, and then I'll introduce my guest, and they'll play a song, and we'll tell stories, and we'll just go back and forth for like an hour, hour and a half.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all. I'm gonna
This was super
say
fun.
goodbye. End the show.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.